Hello, this is Sylvie Curry, and today I did something that I usually don't do. I don't go to places like Del Taco or Taco Bell or whatever. I usually go to like more how do you describe it? Non-chain type restaurants. But while driving to my usual Mi Ranchito, I just thought, I haven't had Taco Bell in years, literally years. But anyway, here we go. So what I got 4 regular crunchy tacos and 1 bean and cheese burrito. Not very much. But one of the things that you probably notice is that when you get to be of a certain age, you don't eat as much, and you don't need as much to eat, I guess. Whereas years ago, I probably could have eaten double this. Not anymore. And I'm curious to see whether or not I'll even get through this, but we'll see. So I've got my grizzly tumbler full of ice and reverse osmosis water. And I got a variety of different their sauces. Wasn't sure what to get because, like I said, I haven't been there in a while, so I have no clue what the heat level is on this. But anyway, let's get going. Doing these kind of videos is usually not my thing. I'm more into cooking. Love to cook. So to even eat this stuff, it's just something that's not me, but we'll see. Sometimes you get a taste of stuff and you just have to go for it. And I had a taste for this. Taco Bell has changed a lot since back in the day. Back in the day, it used to be real simple burritos, bean and cheese, tacos, crunchy only. You can get a cup of refried beans with some cheese on top. That used to be exceptional to me. And that's about it. Nowadays, I got all this fancy stuff that it's like Dorito tacos? Really? Anyway. Next week, I'm going to head across country to do a barbecue competition. This one's going to take place in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Jiggy with the Piggy. And I do this comp every year for the last 5 years. I enjoy it. We will be flying there. Then you say to yourself, well, how can you do a competition across country if you're flying there? What equipment and all that kind of stuff. Well, I've got a whole shed full of my barbecue supplies stationed there in North Carolina, just so that when I do come across country and I go to areas like that, I can just get it and I'm good to go. Got one backwood smoker, Party G2 there, and I've got 2 18-inch WSMs. go for this burrito. I don't like burritos with rice and all that other crap, and I just like the bean and cheese. And I'm gonna go for a hot sauce in this one. Anyway, headed to Jiggy with the Piggy. In the past, I've done pretty good at that one. I've usually come in top 10. A couple of times I've even come in third place. Ooey gooey. Now that I'm eating this, I'm thinking, you know, maybe I should have gone to Mi Ranchito. There I usually get this dish they call a flying saucer, which is basically a tostada in the shell. And it has bean, cheese. I usually get the one with the beef. So it's got shredded beef, sour cream, guacamole, cheese, and I can usually never finish but about a half of it, but it's still yummy. Don't get me wrong, this isn't bad. It's just right now I'm missing my flying saucer. Oh. Put some more sauce on this. I think I'll put a little Diablo on there. It needs something to pick it up. That Diablo does pack a little bit of heat. Anyway, this is a video that I may upload, and I may upload it only to private just because I don't do mukbangs. And I'm only doing this because, what the hell, I just wanted to get an idea of what this was all about. It's called storytelling. But you have to have stories to tell. Excuse me. I'm still getting that heat from that Diablo. But anyway, storytelling, I usually have stories to tell. I can talk about barbecue competition. I can talk about how much I enjoy it, which I really do. I think that people have a perception that people who don't compete, rather, have a perception that barbecue competitions are just a bunch of people cooking meat, turning it into a judge, and just seeing who does well. However, as a competitor, it's a little bit of that, but it's also a lot of, we put a lot into competing. I mean, a lot. From choices of meats, sauces, rubs, cookers, process, timelines, the whole thing. When I first started competing, it's been over 12 years now, or nearly 12 years, it was real simple. You went to a local supermarket, bought your chicken. You went to your supermarket, Smart and Final, or some store like that, got your brisket and your pork and your ribs. Your sauces and things like that were, you know, everyday type sauces that you may have added something to it, like Sweet Baby Ray's, and you may add something to it. Or KC, or one of those, and you add something to it. Rubs, you had a basic rub, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, paprika, maybe a little bit of cumin, and those type of things, and you called it your barbecue rub. Nowadays, it's gotten a lot more involved. Not to say that a brisket or pork purchased at some place like Smart and Final won't win. However, most people are buying meat that's a higher end meat, and mean higher end costs a lot of meat, to better their position to win. So I'll give you an example. You can go to Smart and Final, Walmart, grocery store, and you can purchase a brisket for $35, $40. You can even go to Costco and get a Costco prime brisket for $50, $55. However, most people are cooking with Wagyu. Wagyu brisket's going to run you, depending upon the weight, anywhere from $150 to $210, $15 or more each. So you see that there's a tremendous increase in the cost of doing barbecue competitions. As compared to 10 years ago, 5 years ago even. Most competitors out there are going to use some type of Wagyu brisket product, be it from Snake River Farm, be it from wherever. They're going to use some type of Wagyu product. When it comes to pork, and that includes the pork ribs and the pork butt, there's a little more flexibility. And when I say that is because you can go to Walmart, Sam's Club, and get Smithfield pork butts or Smithfield ribs, extra tender, regular, or prime. And prime not because it's prime meat, prime just because that's the trade name of the product. And compete and win. And you can also go and buy something like Compart Duroc or some heritage breed pork product, where you're going to pay upwards of $4, $5, $6 a pound. And that runs into a big expense. You're thinking because the pork butt itself can run anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds, and you're paying, you know, big money for it. So those pork butts can get pretty expensive to rock Compart. Some people swear by it. I have some very good friends who cook with them, and they swear by them. Currently, I'm still using Smithfield. I did use Duroc pork a couple of years ago, and I didn't see any changes in my scores and how I did competition-wise. And so I backed off and went to the less expensive product. Did just as well and sometimes even better. But who knows? In the years to come, that can all change. Competing has become more and more competitive, meaning the competitors are getting better and better. They're coming up with processes and things to make the judges like varying types of things better. And I say that, for example, appearance, taste, and texture. Those are the things that you judged on in the Kansas City Barbecue Society or KCBS contest. Appearance-wise, you can make almost any meat product look nice in the box. A choice brisket can look as well as a Snake River Farm Wagyu brisket in the box. Organic chicken can look just as well as Foster Farms or Tyson chicken in the box. So on and so forth. Pork, ribs, and pork butt, they can all look the same regardless rather of where they're from. So appearance is not a factor as far as getting good appearance scores. It doesn't matter if it's a expensive piece of meat or not. Appearance scores can be very good depending on how nice you make that meat. Taste and tenderness. Taste, and that's usually based mainly upon your rubs, your sauce, the wood you use, maybe even the smoker you use. Just as appearance is controlled by the pit master, taste is also controlled by the pit master. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you can get meats that are cooked exactly the same way, seasoned exactly the same way, injected the same way, but somehow or other, because of the individual animal, the cow, the pig, the chicken, they taste different. So you can't factor that in. And it's just based upon what that individual animal is fed, their stress level, and other factors that, I don't know enough about raising animals to tell you what those are, but I know there are other factors that can control how they taste, pH and all that kind of stuff. But the pit master has a major control. And then you get into tenderness. And tenderness is probably the most important factor, which a great pit master versus a mediocre pit master or whatever, as far as what your standard is going to be. Can you cook that meat to the correct tenderness? What does that mean? Can you cook that meat to the correct tenderness? It's going to appeal to the judges. What does that mean? Big example I'll give you is, we'll go back to brisket. Brisket has a mouthfeel based upon the marbling, the tenderness that you brought that meat up to, and how does that impact? Oh, my battery's going to go down. I'm going to have to end this and do a part 2. But anyway, I'll keep on till the battery totally goes out. Tenderness. If you don't cook that brisket to the correct temperature, and sometimes it's going to be anywhere from 200 and something to 212, sometimes 213. If you cook low and slow, your temperature is going to be a little lower. You cook hot and fast, the temperature to tenderness is going to be a little higher. I remember back in the day again, all the guidelines said you cook brisket to a temperature of 195. And yep, you do poke it and stuff, and if the toothpick or whatever it is went in, and there was whatever level of resistance, it was done. A lot of us out there not being familiar with the correct technique for cooking brisket at that time, 195, whew, time to take it off, it's ready. However, it may not have been ready. Now we know, or I know, that tenderness means when you put that probe in there or that toothpick in there, that it goes in like you're going into soft butter. It goes in real easy, no resistance, comes back out. And sometimes even the meat itself looks a little jiggly. Yep. Then you know it's tender. Ribs. Fall off the bone ribs are no-no. That's over tender, fall off the bone. In competition, you want the ribs to be such that when you bite into that rib, it comes away easy from the bone, but it does not fall off. There's no tugging or anything like that, and you have a clean bone, but not all the rest of the meat comes out. That's tender. Chicken tenderness. That's a real hard one too, because a lot of chickens get stressed. And thus, you'll have this bite and you'll have a meaty texture to it. And that you're presenting to the judges at least 6 pieces of meat. It may be from 6 different chickens. You don't know, you have no control over that. And you can't taste the individual piece of meat before you turn it in, because you have to turn in the whole piece. So therefore you're sort of like juggling, like, okay, I cooked it all the right way. I stuck the toothpick in it, and toothpick went in nice and easy. The skin was bite through and all that. That's all I got. Then you go for it. Pork butt. Sometimes you turn in chunks. Sometimes you turn in slices. Sometimes you turn in pulled. And there are varying sections of the pork butt. You have the money muscle, usually where you get your slices from. You get your pulled from anywhere on that pork butt, wherever you think is tender, and you can pull it apart. Chunks usually come from either the horn meat, which is the section of meat on the bone that's opposite the side of opposite of where the money muscle is. And sometimes chunks are money muscles that you've overcooked. And you chunk them up and make them look nice in the box. They shouldn't be chewy, shouldn't be tough, shouldn't be dry. Taste varies depending on what you used, but that tenderness should meet all those criteria. Put it in a box and see what happens. Anyway, my battery is going to go off. I'm actually quite full. I don't know that I can finish. I know I'm not going to finish that last taco. And I don't know if I can finish this one. But anyway, Sylvie Curry, Lady of Q, talking about competition barbecue. One of the things I like to do is please subscribe to me. You can push that button that's going to be over in, I think it's in that corner. It's a little button at the bottom. Tell your friends you want to know about competition barbecue from a lady pitmaster, solo lady pitmaster cook. Come look at my stuff. Lady of Q, Sylvie Curry. Next time, take care. Love you all. Looks like I finished it. My battery's still going. Whew, I'm full. Time to take a nap. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.